Okay.
And in today's class, we'll be doing the questions which are based on the topics of part one, Edexcel Physics. All right. So over here, the first question says the diagram shows a chimney over a furnace. A coal fire is burning in the furnace. Air moves into the furnace and up the chimney. So describe how the process of convection causes this air movement. So this question is about convection, and convection is one of the ways of transfer of thermal energy, right? One of the ways of transfer of thermal energy. Okay. So what could be the possible uh, ways how the energy takes place in the form of convection. So in convection, what actually happens, the air particles, they they become warm, right? Okay. And then these particles, or we can say molecules, they, expand, right? So the overall fluid gets expanded, right? So this is how we are going to write our answer, that uh, they're talking about coal fires burning in the furnace and air moves. So they're talking about air, right? So since air, gases and liquids are considered as a fluids, right? Air, let me write it here. Fluid is liquid or gas. Okay, right? Now we are going to describe the process of convection, how the convection takes place, right? So what happens? The particles, they become heated, they become warm, right? So the the air particles become warm, right? Uh, through through the coal fire, right? Okay. So after that, what happens? Air gets expanded, and particles of air uh, move apart, right? So what will happen after they become, move apart? The air becomes less dense, right? So since we have discussed that the air gets expanded, that means the air particles become less dense. So we can say that hot air being less dense, being less dense, hot air being less dense rises, okay, and air being denser, being denser, sink, okay. And so the hot air being less dense, right? So it rises, right, and escape out from the chimney, okay. Hot air when rises, escape from the chimney, okay. right? So in my cupboard. Us. So what will happen? The process of convection is actually, rising of hot air and sinking of cold air and forming a convection current. Okay. So rising and sinking of air due to difference of density, difference of density uh, on convection current, right? Okay. So the basic concept is about hot air rises and cold air sinks, being denser. The thing which is denser, it always sinks, and the one which is less dense rises. Okay, and this rising and no, rising and sinking causes convection current, right? Now here we go with another question. The diagram shows some gas particles in a container, and in this, first of all, I would recommend you guys, whenever you read the question carefully and try to understand what concept is being assessed, right? And if there's any formula that that is linked with that concept, so try to recall that formula so that it will be easier for you to answer, right?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Um,
Sir, wave is not coming for us.
yeah, wave is not coming. I'm not taking uh, the question of wave, but if someone asks me to do waves as well, so I'll take it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here we go with the with another question, and it is about the piston can be moved in or out to change the volume of a gas. So this question is related to the topic of pressure and density, right? Okay. So the diagram shows some gas particles in a container. The piston can be moved in or out to change the volume of a gas. Uh, Now add arrows to the diagram to show the random motion of the gas particles. Now, since they have already mentioned the random motion of gas particles, so make sure that we draw the arrows, right, to show the random motion of the gas particles, right? So, uh, So you can draw the arrows randomly, okay? And it's not necessary uh, to touch the arrows to the to the particles, okay? Right? And they must be in different direction, okay? Now, explain how the motion of the gas particles produces a pressure inside the container. How these gas particles produces a pressure inside the container. See, due to the motion of the gas particles, how the pressure is, developed. So we have to talk about the collision of the particles, right? So the gas particles collide, right? Collide each other and also collide with the walls of container. Walls of the container. Okay. Or you can say with the sides with the sides of the wall or walls of container, right? Exert a force per unit area, which is a pressure. Okay, right? So you must be talking about the collision of the particles. You must be talking about the collision of particles with the walls of container, and you must be talking about the force exerted by the particles. Okay, exerted a force, which particles exert a force. I should mention it. Okay, be very specific in answer. In writing the answer. Okay, particles exert a force per unit area. Right. Okay, now the next part says that state what would happen to the pressure if you pushed the piston into the container. Now they are saying this is the piston, right? This is the movable piston, okay? And you are going to move this. You are going to move this inside it, okay? I'm erasing because I know that this work will be shared after the class, so might be some of the students get confused. All right, so state what would happen to the pressure if you pushed the piston into the container. Now, what do you think? What will happen without changing the temperature? See, without changing the temperature, remember, you can refer the Boyle's law, okay? You can refer the Boyle's law, right? So without changing, whenever the question comes without changing the temperature and they're asking pressure, okay, so they must be talking about Boyle's law, okay? Applicable to Boyle's law. Applicable to Boyle's law. And the mathematical expression for the Boyle's law is P1 V1 equals to V2 V2. Okay, where you can say that the volume is inversely proportional to the pressure, right? If you increase the pressure, the volume of the gas decreases. Okay, right? So over here, when you press the piston, so what happens? That means you are applying more force, right? You are applying more force to the piston. Okay. So that will decrease the volume of the gas. Each particle will come closer. Okay. So what will happen? The frequency of the collision will increase. Okay. So I'm going to write the explanation over here. Okay. So when the pressure through piston is increased, the gas particles come closer, okay? Come closer. The frequency the frequency of collision of particles increases, right? Increases, thus pressure, thus pressure increases, okay, increases, and decrease in volume is observed, right? You can write down this explanation, right? Just give me a minute. All right. Okay, so uh, what we were discussing when the pressure. Okay, all right. The question was still what would happen to the pressure if you push the piston into the container without turning. Okay, all right. So, what we have developed the concept that when you increase, when you push the piston, so the pressure would also increase, right? The pressure would also increase. Yeah. And how this thing happens, I have already explained. Okay, so you can write the what would happen to the pressure into the containers without filling. The pressure would also increase, okay, inside it, right? Now, the next question is about when the gas in the container is heated, the piston moves outwards, right? Please ticks against the three correct statement. So the gas particles get bigger. Gas particles get bigger. That doesn't, make any sense. The gas particles, the size of the gas particle, will not change. Okay, by increasing or decreasing the pressure. Uh, the mass of the gas particles stay the same. The mass of the gas particles stay the same. Yes, the mass of the gas particles they will stay same, right? and the gas particles move faster. So what do you think? Will the gas particles move faster? Any idea?
Yeah, they'll
Yeah,
move faster.
they move faster, right? So you can also add this point over here, even in your explanation, right? The speed of the particles increases, right? The speed of the particles increases, right? Okay. Uh, Now, the average distance between the gas particles increases. So I have already spoke about this thing over here that they come closer, right? So that means the average distance between, because why they are using the word average distance? Because uh, the distance between one particle to another particle is not going to be same, right? So yes, the distance of two pair of the particles, right? Sorry, one pair of particles is going to be decreased, right? Okay, but the distance has not to be same. Okay, right? So yes, the average distance between the particles increases as well. Okay, all right. The temperature of the gas decreases. Again, this is the wrong statement. When you are heating the substance, definitely the temperature of the gas increases. Okay, right. Now this question is about um uh, okay, let's read the question. Photograph C shows how a student can use a claw hammer to pull a nail from a piece of wood, right? Okay, so here they are talking about the pivot. Pivot is the point uh, where the turning effect is, caused, or we can say point of rotation. Okay, pivot is point of rotation. Right? Pivot is what? Point of rotation, right? Now, if you pull that, so this hammer upward, so what will happen? This will twist. That means this will take a turn. So the turning effect of force is called movement. Okay, so you will apply that concept here. The question is asking a mass of the hammer is 0.54 kilogram. Calculate the weight of the hammer. So what do you do when you are given a mass in kilogram and you need to convert into weight? So you just need to use W equals to mass times strength of gravity. So you'll be using mass, which is 0.454, and the strength of gravity is going to be 10, right? So you can, convert this 4.4.54 in Newton, right? Now, from what point does this weight act? So yes, this weight hammer is there, right? So where where the weight is going to act? Yes, yeah. Now look at the figure. You'll be easily telling that how this weight uh be acting in which direction. Yeah, I have already marked it. I think you people can get the idea. I have already point out uh, where the weight is acting. So it should be at the center, right? Center of the gravity, the center of the mass, or to this object center, right? So it's going to be at the point where the center of gravity lies, okay? And the experiment can come in the exam. How will you find the center of the gravity of the object, okay? So from what point does this weight act? Is going to be center of gravity, right? Now, photograph D shows the direction of two other forces on the hammer. Okay, so this is the figure that is given here. Uh, one force on the hammer uh, from the nail, right, is acting downward from the nail, right? And the force on the hammer from the hand. From the hand, you're applying a force like this. Okay. So um, if you look at the point of pivot, okay, so what is the angle between this distance and this force? What is the angle? It is perpendicular, right? So, and if you look at the force exerted by exerted by the nail, right, on the hammer, and the distance from the point of pivot, this is also perpendicular, right? Now, draw an arrow on photograph B to show the forces on the nail from the hammer. Forces on the nail from hammer. Yes. Forces on the nail. So this is going to be the force from the hammer, right? Yeah. Okay. Because when you apply the force on this hammer, so ultimately the cause of that force, makes this nail to come and rise in this direction, right? Because the force is, acting in this direction. Okay. Right. I hope this point is clear. And it should be upward. It should be upward. It should not be drawn under the nail. Okay. All right. So this is not the force that is on the on the nail. It is actually the force that is from the nail on the hammer, and we are required to draw the arrow showing that the force is on the nail from the hammer, right? So it's done, right? All right. Now, so there's two ways that the student could increase the movement on the hammer, right? So what are the two ways that the student could increase the movement on the hammer? All right. Yeah. So if you recall the formula for the movement, right? So movement is what? Since it's a turning effect of force, so you have to have the force multiplied by perpendicular distance, right? Okay. So either you can increase the force, okay, and keeping the perpendicular distance same, or you can increase the perpendicular distance and keeping the force same, okay, right? So increase the force, okay, from the hand on the hammer, right? Keeping distance same. Or you can say increase a distance, increase a distance uh of hand, right? And from the pivot, keeping the force. Okay, right? So I hope that this concept is clear. Now, in this class, we have discussed the movement, the concept of movement, the concept of the center of gravity. The experiment, yes, can come in the exam to find out the center of gravity. Please go through that investigation, okay? And we also had a discussion about conversion of mass into weight. Then we also talked about the pressure and how the motion of the gas particles changes when, when we increase the pressure. So we also had a discussion around Boyle's law. So I hope that you guys have developed the concept. And we also spoke about the convection, how the energy transfer takes place, how thermal energy transfer takes place, right? Through the process of convection, right? So we're gonna have another session, right? After this class, we're gonna have 9 minutes time break, and then inshallah we'll get back to you.
Sir,
Okay. Yes,
sir,
please.
in the next